is planned for today. So yeah, this is one of the right answers. For whoever has given this answer, thanks a lot. That's on point. What else? What else do you expect? Let's get good energy into that. And so good resume is first thing that anyone see before meet us. Yeah. So right now, resume is the only source of truth because you don't have in-person interviews anymore. You don't have to go to Edinburgh and give an interview to Amazon in their office. That was a great era when you used to go for technical interviews, on-site interviews. So yeah, we don't have anything, but right now, good resume is the thing that one sees before he or she meet you. To stand out from the crowd in terms of recruitment and networking, very nice. So yeah, you have to stand out in the crowd. I'll share some experience on that as well and tell you later on in the whole session that how people are being like sending their resume into companies and how they are churned down into 10 resumes being selected out of thousands of resume. Well, so next thing is for standing out and making brief about your skills and leaving an impact on their mind to interview us. Very nice. Yeah, definitely. Your skills tell what you have achieved so far. So, okay. Good resume for referral. True that. Good resume for referral. Nice point, actually. That's a completely new point of view that you can see. Okay. So, no worries. Yeah, so I'll just iterate on what all we are going to discuss today and not taking much of your time. So it is about, how you can, like all the points that have been mentioned over there, how you can build your resume and build your profile so that, you are in eye of a recruiter, right? So not only recruiter, you're an eye of people who are, seeking help from others as well. So there are a lot of things that come into that. Cool. So let's move ahead. We already had good number of responses. So thanks a lot, everyone. But what is that? So I see he's a famous Tony Stark who is trying to do some kind of magic and all, some technological things. And what is written is building a profile in resume, Amit. What that actually means is that building your profile in resume is not something that is too much into, something very, very complicated. It is not something that you can say as a rocket science. It is something that comes over time. You learn things, you implement them, and test, do a trial and error. So understand where actually your profile lies, where actually your interest lies, and how you're displaying that to others. So yeah, that was a short thing for you. And yeah, before we start, a very, very important difference that comes into picture is what is the difference between resume and a CV? So I want to know from you all what do you know that what is the difference between resume and a CV? So you can use the chat box to write it, and I'll just take 1 minute and see like what all do you think makes resume and CV different. So CV is basically curriculum vitae, and how both of these things are different. Cool. Okay. So let's see what you have in your mind. CV is an open document. Okay. I actually don't understand what exactly open document is. Yeah, but okay, I get it. CV is kind of a document. So more on that later on. What else? What else do you think is a big difference between resume and CV? So there's one big difference that everyone should know between resume and CV, and until unless you don't know, and you go and apply for a company, so it becomes hard for a recruiter to see that. So resume is in brief, CV is in detailed version of every achievement on point, Sneha. That is actually what is the basic difference between a resume and CV. Resume is for a particular job, where CV contains all details about a person. Yeah, I can say that. So CV is kind of your what do you say, kind of your kundli, what do you say in mythological terms. So it tells all about you in very, very detail. You must need a lot of time to review someone's CV as compared to your resume. So I guess yeah, resume is a one-page document presenting key facts about your professional experience. Yeah, exactly. I guess all of you, like most of you, are clear about what it actually means. So CV is like a book, resume is like a summary of the book. Yeah, this is a very nice answer, Shivam. So cool. So this was the basic differences between resume and CV. I don't think I need to actually tell you about that, but yeah. So this is the right thing, that you write a resume. Suppose you are applying for some job and they are asking you for a resume. You give your resume, but they are asking you for a CV. Still, you should give your resume. Why is it so? That I'm not saying that companies don't know the difference. Yeah, obviously everyone knows the difference between resume and CV. But it happens most of the time that when you are applying for a job, they may ask you for your CV, but actually it is something that they're asking is resume. Because right now in current situation, no one has time to review your CV. Actually, they have only time to review your resume. We'll discuss on like how all these things go in picture. But yeah, CV is basically big kind of 2 to 3 pages document that tells about in detail about what you have worked so far, what is your experience, what the projects you have worked on, what are your awards and achievements so far. Doesn't matter whether it is in a graduation, in your in like high school or senior secondary school. You actually tell about every aspect of your educational career, right? So moving ahead, so I am not sure why it is not pretty much clear over here, but what actually is written over there is student is spamming the same resume everywhere. So this is happening today. So the problem is that people are, actually spamming the same resume. They make one resume, they use it to, send it to all the companies on all the roles. And this is actually a very big problem. Why? Because you have a single resume which tells about your experience, which is related to a particular role. But what about your, suppose, let's take a condition. So you are applying for a software engineer role at a company A, right? And you, send your resume over there. Now you go see a job opening in company B, and that was for the same role, software engineering. And you apply with the same resume for company B as well. Now, what one would think is fine, the role is same, so I can apply with the same resume in company A and company B, but that is not actually true. This may be true in some cases, but not in most of the cases. Why? Because the need for both of them will be different. So company A might be asking that you should know C, C++, or you should be proficient in Python, while company B may be asking that you should be proficient in JavaScript, while your resume says that you are proficient in C, C++. So that means your resume is totally good as compared to company A, but it is not actually at par when you talk about company B, because you haven't mentioned the skill they are looking for, and you haven't mentioned the actually core values that they are looking for. So it is very, very important that you research about the company you are applying for before you actually send your resume in. And we'll talk about more on how you can, have one resume and edit that on and on for other companies. So that's something that we will talk later on. So questions to ask yourself while creating your resume. So let's not directly jump on how you should structure a resume. Let's first ask a question to ourselves. Like, what would you think while creating a resume? Like, what question should, strike your mind while you're actually creating a resume? So let's see what are the basic 4 questions that you should have on top of your mind. One is, does it actually present your skills and experience? You should verify that. You should check it again whether the role you're applying for at a company, is it actually kind of aligned with your skills and experience. Is it actually your resume showing that you have these skills and company also require these skills? So this is the same thing, that does it align with the role applied for? It should align with the roles and responsibility that is mentioned in a job description. Thirdly, does it represent company's core values? So if you go out and see, every company have their core values listed on their website. So you should actually go and check about a company's core values. Like, a lot of people don't do this actually, and what they do is they see a job opening, they see, okay, this is the company, I'll just read about it, what they do and all. I'll read the job roles and responsibilities, and I'll send the resume in. Or maybe they will go and edit the resume and send this in. But it is important that you realize the company's core values as well. So if you're representing your resumes, if you're representing core values in your particular resume, then it will kind of increases your chance, because you know what company actually is looking for, and do you have that core values. How much time will it take to a stranger to read it? So very kind of trial and error that you can do with your friends is, so just do this today, okay? When after the session, just try if you can do it today, day after tomorrow or whenever. But whenever you make a resume, go and show it to your friend or show it to a person you trust on, that they will guide you better. And just call them on a meet, share your screen, tell them that okay, this is my resume, just go through it, and you have just kind of 30 seconds. Go through it for 30 seconds. I'll stop my screen sharing, and then tell me what can you tell about me as a person now. What do you think that I'm applying for this particular role, and is it aligning with that or not? Why I'm telling you to do that is because it is a very, very nice activity that you can do, and even I have learned it from someone, and it actually helps a lot. So this way you get to learn, like if a stranger, so every recruiter is a stranger to you. If they see your resume for the very first time, any recruiter doesn't have time of more than 20 to 30 seconds to see your resume, because a lot of applications come in for a particular role, and if they sit down and see everyone's resume even for a minute, it will take them a whole lot of time to review all the resume. So it's up to you how you make it catchy, eye catchy, and how you show the important things that you want to show in your resume, so that they actually take less time for the same. Okay, I see a thing. Please explain the third point more. So, okay, I'll actually go and give an example of this. So let's check about, okay, I'll go, um, fine. So just giving a brief example on that. So this is HackerRank's website, and they have their core values as it is a data-driven company, that they are not afraid of challenge with status quo. It is a customer delight-based company. They care about the customers a lot, and they have them at the center. So third thing is extreme ownership. So there's no excuse zone over here, right? You have to be relentlessly resourceful. You should take the ownership, whatever you're doing, and giver. You should always be ready to give what you have earned. So these are the four core values that HackerRank has. Why I'm showing that is just an example. You can go and check about this for all other companies, and eventually you will realize that every companies has these four or three pillars that they rely on. And actually, if this is represented in your resume, that how you are aligned with that, it actually kind of increases your chance to get. I hope that is clear now. Esa.
But
Okay.
yeah, how to show that our values align with the values of the company? You told us to show that, but how to show that?
Okay, I'll come on that later, as I've already told. So please wait for a while. Yeah, I'll come on that later. Thank you. So let's move ahead and see. Okay, so while you are creating a resume, there are kind of essentials that you have to take care of. So basically, you should include these things in your resume at least. So the first and foremost thing is personal experience. Basically, I actually think that it is a little bit wrong. It should be, what do you say, your personal information. Sorry for that typo. So personal information mostly means that you tell about your name, write your email, you write your share your LinkedIn or other GitHub ID, and you'll see. I'll show you some example of resume where you can see how you actually do that. Then you tell about your education. Like education is always added in your reverse chronological order. What is reverse chronological order? So suppose you are right now you are an undergraduate. So most of you might be undergraduate. So what you do is you tell about your undergraduate degree, like what degree are you studying in which college, what is your current CPI, what you can tell about the courseworks, the special coursework that you are actually looking into. So it can be operating system, computer networks in terms of computer engineering, and others in terms of other branches. Then you can, in experience, you tell about the internships that you have done so far, the contributions to open source projects you have done, or maybe you have actually learned, you have actually interned in your own a college or somewhere. So that is also you can mention. So any experience that align with your role that you're applying for is coming under the experience section. What is next is project. So you mention all your projects that you have worked on. So how you list these projects is that you tell you have done a project A. You tell you tell at least 2 points about that, right? So what that project was about and how did you solve a problem using that project. You tell about the skills that you have used, like basically the technical aspects of it, or basically tech stack that you have used to solve that project, right? So it can be a personal project, it can be a team project that you have done at some hackathon or something. So it will ultimately come into the project section. Now the next is skills. So all these skills were relevant for the position applied for. Now skills doesn't only mean that you tell that uh, I know React.js, I know Angular, I know Vue, so forth and so on. You actually structure it. You tell that, okay, I know that I have these skills in terms of tools and technologies. I know how to use GitHub. You write GitHub, you write GitLab or whatever. Then you tell about the platforms that you have used. Maybe you have used Google Cloud. Maybe you have used AWS or something, some other cloud technology. Then you write about the other skills that you have. It can be leadership role. It can be your soft skills and teamwork, whatever. So this is the way you actually divide it, and I'll show you an example. Maybe I'll show you my own resume where you can see how I have structured that for myself. Then the other thing is awards and achievements. So any recognition, any leading role in your club, any leading role in your university or in some community or at some other place, you mention that in your awards and achievements. Any co-curricular activities that you have been a part of, you think that it is actually relevant to mention that, and it can be something like, see, you have you have taken it can be as simple as, suppose you have taken part in a in a kind of a national level dance competition, right? And you had your team who went for the finales or something, maybe not finales, just for the very first contest. So that shows that you have that team you have that team skill. You actually have the teamwork skill and you know how to deal with a team. There are a lot of little things that you have with your small achievements that can show who you are as a person. But before I go into detail of how you actually mention these things in a resume, I would like to give you an overview, a picture of how a good resume is actually different from a bad resume. Resume is not bad about like how much content you mention. It is also about how you structure them in your resume. So on the left, you see a resume where the person has first entered their name. So let me open my pointer. So you see that person has actually written their name, their current position, a phone number, email ID, LinkedIn, and objective, right? So after that, they have shared their experience. They have shared their like whatever they have worked on and what they have done in those particular experiences. Then they have mentioned their education. They have mentioned their skills and interests. Now, maybe some of you might be thinking like, it is okay. They have mentioned each and everything that I just showed you. I showed you you should mention about your personal information, experience, education, skills, interests, etc. What is wrong over here? So you actually realize that right now, if I as a recruiter see this resume for the very first time, I actually need to put a lot of strain. I actually have to go through each and every line to understand what that person is. Not this person has actually highlighted their keywords. So highlighting your keywords is the very important thing that you should do in a resume. So basically what things can be improved in this resume is that you can highlight that, okay, 2 years of experience, okay, and you can highlight that, okay, Samsung, you can highlight, right, a long time Samsung follower dedicated to hiring customers, so forth and so on. So highlighting the keywords in your resume is very important, first thing. Second thing, try to make it into as many points as possible and not making a large paragraph coming into picture. So as we see in the experience, right, we see that there's a 4-line paragraph. For us, it may be okay that we are seeing this resume day in and day out because it is our resume. For a recruiter, it is just kind of a page that they have to just read in 20 seconds. Now, how could you read so many things in 20 seconds, guess what this person is actually? So make sure that you at least write 2 points in your experience, right? That what you have done so far in your experience and how you have actually, solved a very big problem over there. Now, coming to the education. So education is fine, but it is always good that you mention what is your starting year and end year of your education, where you are studying, what course are you studying, and maybe mentioning a CPI is always a good thing if you can. And if you want, you can also mention your courses, as I mentioned earlier. Similarly, if you talk about skills, so the way skills are over there, you see that this person has a skill of invoicing, product knowledge, empathy, leadership skills, etc. But it is difficult for a person to understand like what is their actual skill, what is their skill, the strongest skill that they have. They have mentioned all these skills over there. So in the right side, you see that this person has actually kind of scale himself or herself on the scale of maybe something, so some percentage that they are showing, okay, I have this much knowledge, and I have invoking skills this much, I have empathy skills this much, and I have leadership skills this much. This is also a good way that you graphically show what is your strength in a particular skill. And the other thing is that your interest. So basically you tell about whatever interest you have other than the current aspects, or maybe you have something related to your role, then you can also mention that. Now moving on to what I actually follow. So I won't say there's a particular template for a resume, but there must be a template that should include some particular key points. I'll tell you one by one, like what are those key points that you should take care of. So starting with your first name and last name. So whatever is your name, you should mention over here. Then you mention your phone number. Remember one thing, that it is always okay, it is good to mention a phone number, but in some of the companies job description, it is mentioned that you should not share any personal information in your resume like your phone number. Make sure you read the job description very well, and if something is mentioned like that, on the safer side, you should avoid adding your phone number in that case, because some companies don't want the recruiter to actually know personal information like your phone number. uh, okay, so it's always good to be on the safer side that you can hide your mobile number from there, you don't even add it over there. But if you want, if there's no kind of restriction, you can add it, right? Then you write where do you belong to, so whatever place you belong to, you can write over here. Then you give your email ID, LinkedIn profile, and one more, what do you say, link. So this link can be redirected to your personal profile. So many of you might have made your personal websites that tell about you. Maybe you have a link to your GitHub profile if you are an open source contributor. Maybe you have link to some other platform that you have your maybe some blog site that you are extensively writing blogs on. So this is the very kind of standard template that you can use. But make sure the very first thing when you're writing your email, that your email should always be very, very standard. So standard, what that means is that, okay, I want to write something like coolguy@gmail.com, right? So if you enter these kind of things, right, if your email ID is like something like coolguy@gmail.com, it is not actually professional, right? You should actually show that you are a person who actually works professionally. So this is not the right way that you actually show that. It can be something like, okay, in my case, it is apoorve73@gmail.com. In someone else's case, it can be their name following something else. So this is a very kind of standard username that you can use for your email ID. Similar thing goes for your LinkedIn.com, right? So you have your username for your LinkedIn. You can always change that from LinkedIn's website as well. So it is better that you keep it very, very kind of professional and not use something which is unprofessional. Now coming to the objective. So the objective tells why you want, like why you want to apply for this company, right? So in this case, it is written like software engineer with 2+ years of experience in XXX, seeking full time in this particular role, right? So you can also mention like what actually makes you different to basically apply for this role. So you can extend it like software engineer with 2+ years of experience in this and specialized in this particular technology. So suppose a company is looking for a person experienced in AWS, right? So you can mention it in the way software engineer with 2+ years of experience in this company, with a specialization in AWS, seeking full time this role. Okay, so objectives should be very precise, not going more than 2 lines, and it should actually tell that why you want to apply for the particular company. So that's why I told you earlier that if you use the same thing for different companies, you won't be able to change your objective again and again. Basically, you're sending the same maybe general objective that I am a software engineer and I want to apply for these particular type of roles, that's why I'm applying for a company. So that actually doesn't tell why you want to apply for a particular company. Now, the second thing is your education. So right now you see that it is Master of Computer Science, Stanford University. Relevant coursework. In relevant coursework, you can mention that maybe you have done data structures, computer science, and something else. Then you, on the very right hand side, you tell that when you're going to graduate. So if you have already graduated, you can write it as 2014 to 2017 was your course, kind of a course duration. And if you're not yet graduated, you can write it in your own way, maybe 2019 to 2023, or maybe expected 2023, June 2023, whatever. Similarly, next come to the skills. So this is how you actually divide your skills. So you define what criteria you want to define your skills on. As a fresher, many of you won't have a lot of variety of skills. You maybe have technical skills, soft skills, and other skills other than these technical and soft skills, right? So it's totally fine. You don't have to copy anyone else. So you have to decide that what variety of skills you have and how you have to divide into different categories. So it can be like technical skills, soft skills in this case, and one more, anything that you think that your skills can be divided into. Then comes the experience. So experience is something which tells what you have done at a company. So it's always good that you tell that first and foremost things what you achieved over there and at this particular company using your skills. Okay. Secondly, you tell how these how this company, okay, which had this particular improvement was able to kind of grow because of your contribution, right? So how did your contribution help the company to grow? Okay, so first most thing, that how your skills have added a value to the company, how the company's growth have been with your contribution, what exactly now you did at the company. So maybe you developed XYZ that did A, B, and C using XYZ. So maybe you tell that I developed a mini framework that actually was that did some web scraping using Selenium, Python, and Heroku, right? So this is the way you actually tell everything about it. So you tell that what you made there, what skills have you used, what technology you have used, so that the other person at the other end reviewing your resume knows that like if you have used the right set of skills, if the skills you have used over there are actually relevant to them or not, right? So this is the way you actually give your experience. Now the next thing comes is your projects. Projects is should always start with a short project title. Okay, if you want, you can also mention the timeline you have done that project for, if you think it is okay. But even if you don't mention it, that is completely fine. That is your choice. Then you write what you build on that particular project. Maybe if you have something more to tell, divide it into points, not more than 3 points for your project. So tell that you build a project that did something, and this project won this particular prize. Okay, so maybe you can say that I did a project ABC which won the hackathon this and achieved this particular prize. And second point can be I implemented Firebase, Google Cloud, and React in this particular project to make this and this. Okay, so these are the ways that you can actually tell that what your project actually helped you achieve and what you learned from that project. Okay, so moving on to the next part, extracurricular activities. In extracurricular activities, obviously, if you have done something other than your normal coursework, other than your projects, other than your normal experience at some company, do mention that. I've already told it can be something you have done at some particular club activity, or maybe you led in a role in some community, or anything that you see it is relevant for your extracurricular activities. And maybe you can divide it more into leadership roles, and maybe you can change it to as your awards and achievement section. So you can write about your awards and achievements, okay, if you have already mentioned about your leadership roles and extracurricular activities, okay, or maybe you can do this interchangeably. So it is always good that you tell how you are actually passionate about different things other than your tech savvy, or maybe other than your core uh, what is a core field. Okay, so since I have spoken a lot, I feel thirsty right now. So let's get some question till then and see what you people have on your mind. I'll just take 2 or 3 questions as of now, because we already have a Q&A at the end. So I already see one question. What is soft skill? So sorry, I just saw that question. And soft skill is basically that basically your public speaking skills. It can be your basically how you are presenting yourself to others. So there are some keywords that you can use. Sorry. Okay. So soft skills are basically how you actually interact with others. So any any communication skills that you have that you think are relevant, you can mention that in the soft skills. So any questions so far that I can take up? Okay, I guess I have some question. Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Where can you mention some tools with which you can make a resume?
Mhm. Yeah, sure. I'll come that later on, but yeah, since you're asking, I'll tell that straight away. So you can use Overleaf. Basically, there are a lot of tools. Okay, now there's one more tool, that is Hacker Resume. So you can use that as well. I'll just show by sharing my screen and give you an overview. So just give me a second. I'll share my screen and show. Cool. So let me share my screen. Okay, I guess my screen is visible to everyone. Can someone confirm that?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Okay. So this is the, I would say, the latest tool that like any one of you can use if you're just starting with making a resume. You are not into writing a little of code. You just hate writing some code. So you can use it to create a resume. What you just have to do over here, you go to create a resume. You enter the details that you have. So suppose you have some skills, which is languages or something. Then you have your work experience, and you maybe you have your education. So I would prefer that if you are just starting with something, you are writing a resume for the first time, you can use this platform, hackerresume.com, and I'll share the link for you as well. So okay, I'll answer the questions. Just give me a second. So this was one platform, but if you are into writing a little bit of code and you are okay with writing some code and exploring different things, Overleaf is one of the website that you can use to create a resume. So Overleaf helps you write your resume in latex language. Latex is not a very complex language. It is something very similar to writing a readme file on GitHub, or maybe a markdown file. So just writing a text file is something that you do. There are the keywords that you have to follow, and you can use this latex and find a lot of templates over here. So you can find already built templates. You can change their code, you can change the padding of the of your resume, you can increase the space, you can decrease the space, and whatever you want to do. So it's very similar to what you say, kind of a Google Doc file, but it is much more customizable than that. So these are two platforms that I actually prefer myself, but if you can find a better platform, that is always good. So I hope that answers your question, Mohammed Hassan. If I'm
Yes,
making
thank you,
any
Bhaiya.
mistake. Okay, great. So as a fresher applying for internship, what should we mention in our experience? So as a fresher, right, so you might not be having as such any experience. It is possible, right? So it is better that either you have some experience at a college. Suppose you took part in some, you were a part of some team project. Okay, you can mention that in your experience because you are a fresher right now. But if you don't have any kind of experience, you're going directly to a company, it's better you keep you don't even add that particular field to your resume, right? Because you don't have any kind of experience. Mostly this doesn't happen. All everyone has some kind of experience, but if you don't have an experience, it is okay. You can simply remove that heading from resume. You can remove that part and continue writing your projects that you have worked upon, if you have any. So that's why I'm saying that, if you are starting to create a resume for the first time, you can use hackerresume.com. You don't have to think much about that thing. Okay, it will simply remove that particular section that you don't have anything for. Then I hope that answers your question, Rehan, and let me know if you have any more doubts. So, okay, next question is, when should we start building our coding profile, like hacker rank or lead code in 4 semester? Okay, that is a pretty much an off-topic question, but I can answer that for sure. Maybe if it will be fine if I answer that at the end, Arham. I guess it will be okay. So let's not deviate from the actual agenda. Okay, cool. Next is Shivam. Tell us about fresher with no skill, like no technical skill. Yeah, there are people like even in the first year, I didn't have anything in my resume. So in that case, I simply used to remove that particular part from my resume. Like if I don't have any experience, I'll not write my experience. If I don't have any projects, I won't write any project. But it is better that you should have at least one project when you're applying for some particular role, because until unless you have a project, maybe a mini project, right, like a to-do application made in simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that is also fine. But at least try to have one project in your resume so that it tells that you are actually having something. Okay, maybe project can be different for different people from different branches. I don't want to restrict it to computer engineering because I'm from that branch. That's why I'm giving the examples for the same. Cool. So I guess we already have done 3 questions. I'll take up more questions at the end. So if you have any, just write in the chat box right now, or maybe you can save that for later. Now, we have already covered how you can make a resume better, how you should actually have it. Okay, but is resume the only way to get your dream job? Is it the only source of truth, right? That you create a resume, you send that to companies across for different roles, and wait for the for getting cleared in the screening round and moving to interview round, or maybe some online coding round. So I would say not really. So you already have one. I would say there are many other methods that, but I would be discussing one more method that you can, come into eye of some recruiter pretty easily. And also you will have your resume in place already. And, a person don't have to read your whole pager. They can simply go to your LinkedIn profile and see, okay, what you have been doing as a person, right? So that actually sums up that you create your own brand. So creating your own brand is something that people actually are doing a lot these days. They are actually sharing more knowledge that they have. Okay, and sharing it with others. They are actually telling people that what they have done, what they have achieved. So it is a good way that you actually tell that, okay, what you have achieved so far and what you are looking up to. So let's discuss more on that and dive more into the reality as to what is the other way around. Like you can get, you can actually show your skills. So for this, I'll just go to linkedin.com. I open my profile. Okay, so I'll start with giving an overview of my profile and how you can organize your profile as well. So creating a LinkedIn profile is very simple, right? You sign up and you add your details. So how you add your details actually, right? So whenever you're adding your details, you should make sure that you have a summary. So summary is basically kind of a short introduction about you, your current role, if you are doing something, maybe your kind of big achievement that you want to show to some person, not only recruiter, anyone that you want to show immediately. So it can be something that you have achieved and you are really proud of, or maybe it can be as simple as that you are kind of Python, you are kind of a Python developer, so you can write I'm a Python developer slash 3-star on HackerRank, or maybe 4-star on CodeChef, whatever you have. Okay, whatever you think is relevant for you, you can always add this in your summary. Okay, it's always good that it gives you complete picture, not a complete picture, but a small picture of a person's interest. Okay, then comes your contact information. So for your contact information, it is always good that you share your email ID. If you have a Twitter account, it is very good. Okay, so that, and if a recruiter wants to reach out to you, they can use that email ID directly to reach out to you in person. Moving on to the next section. Okay, analytics basically is about your profile views, like how many people have visited your profile, how many posts have been viewed, okay, recently, and how many times have you uh, been searched on LinkedIn. Okay, then okay, resources is about your network. Basically, you can see your connections and all, whatever you have, right? So this is one thing. Then the other main thing is featured. So featured is a section where you actually feature the content that you have to show. So suppose it can be you won some hackathon. Okay, you won some hackathon, you got some prize, but you don't want to post it on LinkedIn. Fine, it's okay, you post it on LinkedIn, it is very good. It don't want to post it, add it in your featured section if you think it is really worth it. Okay, you can add it as a document. Okay, always. And maybe you can add your GitHub profile, maybe you can add kind of other things that you think are relevant, but featured should always contain the important document that you are that you really what do you say give importance to. And going to about, so about sections should actually tell about you, right? So it can be precise, it can be long, but it is always good that you tell about your actual skills. It is similar to an objective that you write in a resume, right? In your resume, you write it in the way that you are writing for a company. In about section in LinkedIn, you actually write in a way that you are giving it a generalized overview, like you are interested in this particular skill, you have done this much so far, you have this much years of experience, and you are kind of passionate about this particular thing. So these kind of things you actually write in a short summary in your about section. So okay, I'll come to this question, Shivam, just give me some time. So then you come on your experience. So experience, again, I would focus on, like whenever you're writing your experience, please do mention something about what you have done over there. So just in, like in the resume, you mentioned that you have done these and these things in your whole journey in that particular role. Similarly, you should mention the same things in your LinkedIn profile, so it becomes your source of truth, right? Whatever you write on LinkedIn, more than thousands of people will see that. Okay, so if you write something wrong, if you write something that is uh, actually a lie, so there are a lot of people who make fake LinkedIn profiles, and you know it is easily to catch that, because you know that who person is actually working in which particular company. Even if you're getting some spam profiles to see day in day out, well, okay, it is actually a good thing, to stand out from all these things and stay away from all these things. But yeah, that's a different topic. But okay, you should also mention that what you have done over there as an in your role. So in my case, Devscript is a community, right? So it is not a place. So when I was in my first year, I actually joined DevScript community, but it was okay. I didn't have any such experience to tell, so I mentioned it over there that I did this at this particular community, and that is what someone asked, right? That what should I mention experience? So even if you have been at some club, you have you have taken some responsibilities in the very start of your career, you can add it in your experience section. Later on, when you have some relevant experience as to aligning with your roles and responsibilities, you can shift that into uh, other sections and bring things in your experience section that are relevant for the roles you're applying for. Then after that, you can mention your education, like whatever education you have done so far, right? So yeah, maybe you can also mention your coursework, just like you mentioned in your resume. You can mention more other things as well. Then licenses and certifications is an important part. So suppose you have a lot of certifications, but how will someone know, right? So that you have some certifications that that you actually want to show to everyone. So it's a very good place. You can write you can show your certifications over here, and it is very easy to check it, because you can give a link to that certification, upload it on Drive, and give a link over here, so that a person can directly go over there and see that what is your certification or license that you have got from some exam or something. Okay. Then comes the volunteering section, right? So volunteering section is again the part where you have volunteered. So it is not actually volunteering can be that you have been a mentor at some place, you have been at a leading position, or maybe you have been a volunteer at some place, right? So it tells about your soft skills basically, right? It tells more about your other skills, such as how you are working in a team and how you're dealing with different things at a particular time. Then comes the very next section, that is skills. So you can always choose any skill, and LinkedIn has this very nice feature, right? You can always take a skill quiz. So what a skill quiz is, that suppose you want to show anyone that you are a front-end developer, you go, you take a quiz of the duration might be different for different quizzes. Okay, there are 15 multiple choice questions, and you have to score in the top 30% people who have taken that particular skill quiz to earn a skill badge. So if you get a skill badge, it is actually a distinguished thing on your profile, that okay, this person has taken this skill test, and since it has taken it on the LinkedIn itself, so it is a kind of authentication that okay, you actually have this skill verified from LinkedIn. Okay, so it is also a good thing that you take a skill quiz, and even if you have any of the skills that you want to add, you should add it over here. Then comes the publications. Publications are the blogs that you write mostly. So whenever you're writing a blog, make sure, like not actually make sure, the right word is that you actually should share that with others and take feedbacks on that. Okay, writing a blog is the very kind of nice way in which you can actually tell people what you have learned. It can be anything, whatever you want to write about, but it is good that you add it in the publication section, or maybe if you have a blog that you want to add in the featured section, you can add it over there. Then project section is again another great thing. You can add your project, you can add the link to your project. Okay, you can add the creators who are already on LinkedIn. So suppose you had 3 core team members who are working on that project, and they are also on LinkedIn, you can simply add them as a collaborator. So you can tell them, okay, these particular people also worked on this particular project. Then comes the honors and awards. So whatever like awards you have got so far, you can add it over here. The languages, organizations you have been a part of, and so on and so on. So I guess this is the basic overview of how you can structure a LinkedIn profile, and it is always a good way that you actually mention the niche detail over here, not like in a paragraph or so, but keep it simple, crisp, so that anyone who is visiting your profile, okay, they know, like they don't have to actually go to your resume again. Okay, that should actually tell what you have done so far. So it is the you can say it is a kind of a digital transformation of a resume, as simple as that. Okay, and if okay, and there's one more thing, not to be mentioned as in profile building or something, but whenever you are making your connections on LinkedIn, make sure you make the right connection. Basically, the people who are actually actually have interest in, or maybe people who are actually working on similar lines that you are working on. Because if you make anyone you make anyone your connection, okay, so LinkedIn actually shows you a profile based on their interest. And if you see profile based on their interest, it might be possible that you don't see the profile that the post that you should actually see, right? That are actually something that you are interested in. So make sure you make your connections properly, and yeah, you are kind of focusing on that thing. So again, I'll take some time and take some questions over here. So interest writing in resume is compulsory. It is not compulsory, Dinesh. See, interest is something that you actually show by writing your experience. So having an interest section separately is not necessary. But yeah, the sections I already mentioned in the resume that I just showed you a couple of minutes ago, they should be there for sure. So just going on that again. So at least you should mention these things in your resume, because they actually tell about your interest anyhow. So don't have to have that interest section separately. I just showed that example so that you know what is the difference between bad and good resume. So if a person is more skilled and have very poor resume writing, does it affect him like in terms of him getting selected? So let me read this question again. Is more skilled and have, yeah, it happens, Shivam. It is kind of a problem that you will see people in. Okay, so see, what people mostly face a problem is that they have very very good skills. Okay, but they lack in making a good resume, a resume that is actually clear and telling about their skills and everything, and that is why they lack the screening opportunity. So let me go into the details. You have, since you have already asked this question, so let me explain you how the screening round works. So screening is a the very first part. So screening basically means that company is getting 1,000 applications, and they have to actually knock down 50 applications of the knock down 950 of the application, and just have to select the rest 50 applications. So this is known as the screening round. Basically, I have myself seen a recruiter like basically how they see the resume is, it is very very interesting. So this open your resume and they give a look at it just like from top to down, and then they slide over if they don't find anything interesting in that, or maybe they don't find highlighted keywords over there. Even a single grammatical mistakes, if someone captures in a resume, it gives a negative impact. It is because it shows that you haven't done much review on that. Okay, you haven't actually focus more on building a good resume. That is why there are tools and technologies out there, okay, so to make a resume and tell about your grammatical mistakes as well. So there's a website that you can always go to. I'll show that as well. So Resume Worded is one of the websites that you can use to get an instant feedback on your resume. So you actually put your resume on this particular website, and you get a kind of a scorecard of your resume, right? Like what skills are there, and what skills you need to actually add it over there. What kind is it actually matching the role you're applying for? So it is a very good website, and you can try it out. Resumeworded.com. It will give you an insight, okay, how good your resume is. So yeah, again, coming to that point, Shivam, yeah, if you don't have a good resume, it might be possible that you may get rejected in the screening round, because only after screening is when you actually go into some other round, that is online coding round and the other interview rounds. So I guess that is clear so far, and I guess I can move ahead. And yeah, so your profile and resume is the reflection of who you are as a person. So a neat, well organized, error-free professional resume is something that everyone likes. Okay, so make sure your resume is always well organized. Not only your resume, your profile should also be well organized and show a professional overview of that. Okay, and not last but not the least, so this is a kind of quote that is I actually love a lot. So it is, I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. So just on the kind of motivational side, or you can say on the advice side of this thing, see, even if you have a lot of good skills, right? So it doesn't mean, it doesn't actually means that you won't be selected. You will be selected a lot of times, but yeah, uh, again, like life is just 10% what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. So it depends on how you actually react to your surroundings, how you actually react to what you are getting as an opportunity. So always make sure that whatever opportunity you get, okay, uh, you give your 100% in it. Okay, so it happens that we only give 99.99% most of the times, and that 0.1% we regret later on. So never let that happen in your career. Okay, so this is a quote by Charles Swindoll. Though the person on the right you are seeing is not actually Charles. So this is some random person, even I don't know who is. So sorry for that. And again, you might be thinking why I am again doing this, but yeah, it is kind of a Q&A. So you can go to this slider.com if you want to share your anonymous question. If you want to ask a question anonymously, go to slider.com, enter this pin and ask your question, whatever you have. Or if you want to ask a question, write in the chat box, please ask that straight away. If you want to unmute yourself, just raise your hand as well. Okay. How can we build connection? So connection, okay, Shivam, I'll explain it into two parts. So one connection is what you tell about LinkedIn. Okay, so making LinkedIn connection is straight away, you just send a connection request. But the second thing is that how you build connection that actually help you. So the right way, so whenever you reach out to someone on LinkedIn, okay, so since you have brought up this topic, I'll tell. So there's a feature that, suppose I'll go on LinkedIn, I suppose search for a random person, so it can be someone even I don't know. Okay, and you just search about someone. Cool. Now if I want to connect with this person, right, I mostly click on connect and hit send request. Like it is as simple as that. But suppose the best way to send someone a request is, okay, you add a note to that. Tell that person why you actually want to connect with that person. Okay, so when you add a personal note, so it actually your chances increase that that person will accept your connection request. So recruiters are getting a lot of connection requests day in and day out. Even people from good companies, or maybe at higher position or very skilled people, are getting a lot of connection requests, and it is possible that they don't accept it. So if you tell the reason why you're sending the request, and maybe a short message will help you make a better connection, because it gives you a starting initiating point for a conversation. So suppose I send a request to this person directly and I don't write a note, maybe this person will accept my request. But even if sometime later I want to start talking to that person, I will write a hi and I will tell them, okay, I reached them because of this and this. But if I just write them straight away when I'm sending them the request, then I'm actually initiating a conversation between both of us. And this is the best way you can initiate a conversation between between you and the other person, since okay, you don't have to explicitly go to that person and start asking something. So maybe that answers your question, Shiva. Okay, hi. If there are any more questions, please feel free to ask them straight away. And I'll just stop sharing. I just have to see something. Cool. Any more questions? If you want to unmute yourself, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask that question, whatever you have. Okay, so there's one more question that says, how can we apply for internship for software developing, like using Python in first or second years of college? So, okay, so not kind of a direct answer to it, but Yeah, whenever you have some skills, suppose okay, you are asking that you have to apply for internships for software developing, like using Python in your first and second year. So it's better that okay, you see opportunities that are actually relevant to you. So the best way is like go on LinkedIn. Okay, I'm just taking the example of LinkedIn. You can go to websites like Internshala, AngelList. Okay, that gives you a lot of opportunities. Check for the open roles over there. You can mention the uh, basically language you are looking for roles into, and directly see that okay, either you actually want to apply for this particular role for this particular company, and go ahead, apply for that particular role. But make sure you have your resume in place, updated resume. It is always good to share your updated resume with the company. And yeah, go and apply for that. In your first and second years, see, it happens mostly that people nowadays are actually looking a lot for internships. It doesn't used to happen earlier. So when the setup was actually offline, and people used to have internship in third year, but now it has become a trend for everyone. So it's better that you make the right choice on that. Okay, so make sure that wherever you are applying, you have actually research on that particular company. It's always good. It can be a startup, it can be a company, whatever you feel best with. What else? Any questions that anyone has? Would it be helpful to mention class 12 percentage in resume? Okay, so that is kind of a objective answer. I would say it depends on you. So if you want to mention your class 12 percentage, it is completely fine. But in most of the cases, you won't see people adding their maybe their senior secondary or higher secondary education. It happens most of the places where you are actually applying for roles like some research internship, right? So research internship basically requires that you tell about your academics as well. So academic is something that is given a weightage in research internships. So it's better in that case. You can always, add those things. It is not a necessity, but if you're adding, that is completely fine. For first and second years, yeah, that is fine. That is not a necessity, I would say. Adding your undergraduate details, that what you are, pursuing your education right now in, is most important. But in mentioning your class 12, things is optional. Okay, you can add it or not. That's your choice. So cool. I'll wait for 3 to 4 more minutes and see if you have any questions as well. Until then, you can always go ahead and go to this link, and if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me whenever you want to. Yeah, but if you don't have any questions, we can obviously क्या कहते हैं, like stop the session. Cool. So I see like most of the questions are answered, and I think that now you all must have a clear idea as to what is like building your resume and profile is. And I would recommend you all go ahead, check out check out to apply for different roles and companies wherever you want to, and use the it is possible that for some people some methods might work, but some people other methods may work. So always do a hit and trial. Okay, when you apply more, okay, you get to know that whether you are on the right path. Do get your resume reviewed over time with your seniors, with your colleagues if you want to. So it helps you understand like what kind of things you can improve. Okay, because an experienced person can tell you more about what things you can add, and it always helpful for you. So thanks a lot, everyone. I hope you all learned a lot, and Yeah, always feel free to reach out to like anyone in the AMURoboclub as well. With there are a lot of amazing peeps over here. They have done a lot of things. So yeah, always go ahead and feel free to ask any questions you have. Thanks a lot.